All right, all right, all right. Carnivore Soldier coming at you from Austin, Texas. Welcome back. It's another Hump Day meetup. You made it another week. You've gone a whole week eating the proper human diet. Hopefully you did. If not, you can pick up and start again tomorrow or tonight. If you did, great. Or maybe you're just figuring it out and starting up now. That's great too. Welcome to the Hangout. We're going to go ahead and bring our two guests in. I have two guests waiting to jump in and answer questions for you. If you have any questions, go ahead and put a QQQ in front of the questions so we can find them easily, because the comments go by quite quickly. Okay, so let's bring in Kat from Meat Fueled Living. How you doing, Kat?
Good. Hi, everyone.
And I'm gonna bring in Brian from Carnivore or Wickivore. Brian, what's going on, brother?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Hey, I got one question. Is everyone here a Red Wings fan?
Yes.
All right. That's right. We're all from the northern area. You know, I'm in Texas now. Kat, you're in Colorado. Where are you at again, Brian? Are you in Virginia or something?
I'm in Virginia. Yeah.
Right. Virginia. Cool. Okay, guys. So let's just do a real quick introduction. Hey, first off, let's talk about Brian real quick, because Brian is on the cusp of getting 1,000 subscribers. So, and I want you guys to jump on, anyone who's watching this video, either when it's live or replaying, please jump on his channel. And I've got the wrong channel here. It's not at Wiki Goes Carnivore. It's at Wickivore. And I've got it right here. So it's at Wickivore. Go on there and like and subscribe. Here's his actual channel. I got that right, Brian?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Get him over 1,000. We only got, it's 40 some odd or 30 some odd to get him over, right? So you're pretty close, man. Let's get you over 1,000 now. That's awesome. All right, let's go ahead and do a quick introduction. Kat, why don't you go first? Just tell us about yourself and how long you've been on Carnivore.
Well, hi, everyone. My name is Katerina, and I have a YouTube channel as well called Meat Fueled Living. I started the carnivore diet very radically back in July of this year. I was previously a whole food, plant-based vegan for total vegetarian vegan for 13 years. Health just kept deteriorating, morbidly obese, just had a whole lot of things happen. And out of desperation, one day I decided to try the carnivore diet, and it's, what does they say? It's all history from there. It's just been absolutely amazing. And so I'm just here trying to spread the word.
Awesome. Brian?
Yeah, so I've been carnivore for about 16 months now. I started in July of 2022. And when I started carnivore, I was quite a bit overweight, had a lot of joint pain, arthritis, low energy, a little bit of mild depression. I had AFib. I was having like a couple of AFib episodes a week. Wow. And I lost over 80 pounds so far. No joint pain, no arthritis anymore. My blood pressure is lower. I haven't had an AFib episode in over 14 months. As a matter of fact, last Friday, I went to the cardiologist and he took me off the medications. So I'm no longer on medication for AFib, which is great.
Awesome.
Yep. Let's see. I got more energy now. The depression's gone. Just everything has really changed for me. It's been life-changing.
Yeah. I've got a similar story. Obviously, retired from the Army and was pretty dinged up from hard life and, former athlete. And then, just was on a steady decline health-wise through the pandemic and everything. And then in 2022, March of 2022, I saw a video by Dante Fregno and started the carnivore diet because I was like, I got nothing else, so might as well try it, and went all in and lost 46 pounds in about 6 months. Again, reversed arthritis, just everything in my life changed for the positive. It's pretty amazing. So I can't, and I think that's why I started a channel. That's probably why you guys started a channel. It's just such a radical change. You have all this energy and you want direction. For me, I was like, I got to do something. I got to get this message out. So I started a YouTube channel, which I never thought I'd ever do in my whole entire life. I did like watching YouTube channels. I liked watching guys talk about movie reviews. That's why I do some movie reviews. I like watching recipes, so I do some recipes. I like watching guys do Jeep modifications because that's what I do. I don't make any videos on that on this channel, but so anyway, that's what I did. So if you guys have questions, be sure you put in QQQ so we can catch them. Tonight, I figure we would talk a little bit about, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Dr. Chafee just put a video out on OMAD and fasting. Have either of you guys seen that yet?
I have not, no.
I haven't.
It's a short video, but it's really, I love his stuff because it's all packed with information, very relevant, not a bunch of fluff, and it's just, this is what you need to know, right? When he does stuff. That's kind of the way I like to do my stuff. I try not to fluff it too much. But in his video, he says that this is what he says about fasting and OMAD on the carnivore diet. He says basically your diet is a fasting mimicking diet if you're on carnivore. And because the whole benefit of fasting, if you're on a standard diet or even a keto diet, when you have carbohydrates in your diet, is you eat, your insulin level comes up, and then you fast for a certain amount of time, 18 to 24 hours, or whatever, and then it drops back down, and then you can reintroduce foods again, right? Well, on the carnivore diet, your insulin level drops way down, it just levels and goes steady. It should, if you're doing it properly. So you're always in a fasted state. And one of the things he said in that, which I really liked, was that any wild animals you look at, they are always in a fasted state. There are no examples of animals that go between fasting and feasting as far as like adding carbohydrates and shooting their insulin level up and dropping it down, other than us. Even animals that are herbivores aren't that way because they have a gut designed for that, and they actually use the gut biome to break it down, and they're actually in a fasted state when they're eating that stuff, where we can't. So we get in this state where our insulin spikes up. So it's kind of interesting. So he gives like good biological reasons for that. And he says basically that you don't, I mean, it's not going to hurt you to fast, but you don't need to really engineer that and manually do it, because your body will naturally go there as your hunger signals change. What do you guys think about that? And what's your experience been? Kat, you can start with that.
Well, initially, I never did go into intentionally fasting, and I still do not intentionally fast. As I hit about the probably 60-day mark, maybe closer to 70 days, I started not wanting to eat at all. I went through just never being hungry, and I sometimes barely made one meal a day, but now it just naturally happens that way. I don't eat if I'm not hungry, because the one thing about the carnivore diet is if you're sitting down and you think, oh, I'm hungry, but a steak doesn't sound amazing to you, or, going to get some pork chop or something, then you're not actually hungry, because most of the time you eat, it's the cravings for the sugar and the junk. So now I just barely, I guess I just eat once a day, and it's usually later in the day, and it just happened all on its own. So I don't have any issues with intentional fasting if people do that, or they like, that's what they want to do. But I think it just happens. I think eventually your body just does that on the carnivore diet anyways.
Yeah. And let me ask you, because you were vegan, was that a natural progression when you were vegan as well? Did you notice you could fast easily or just not be hungry?
No, as a vegan, you were eating all the time. No, and you know what? As a vegan, when I was putting on all of that weight and couldn't get it off, I tried fasting. Like I had this Zero app, and I was like meticulous. It was very hard. It's with the carnivore diet, it's not hard at all. It just happens, and it just seamlessly with no issue. But as a vegan, I struggled with that and never really could stay fasting for long. I tried, but I would always cave in after a day or two.
Right.
I don't have to try now. It just does it.
Yeah. Okay. Brian, what's your experience with that? You've been, out of the three of us, I think you've been carnivore the longest. So what's your experience?
Yeah. So I've done both OMAD and 2MAD within my dieting. I started out as too mad, right? And it was funny because I had gone from eating 3 or 4 times a day, and I was like, I don't even know if I can eat twice a day now, alone once a day. So I started at too mad, and I did that pretty well. And I would say, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months in or so, I started doing a little bit of OMAD and felt really good with doing it. And then I kind of transitioned to more of whenever I was hungry, I would eat. So it wasn't necessarily OMAD or too mad. And that's kind of where I am now.
Yeah.
So some days there is just once a day, and other days it's twice a day. I do find that most of the time it's twice a day for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because I'm not really that active, so I'm not sure why it's twice a day. Maybe I'm just not getting as full as I should. I don't know. But yeah, even when it's twice a day, it's typically within like 5 or 6 hours of each other. So there's a long fasting period. And even when you are eating, like you've both said, you're not really, you're not spiking your blood sugar levels or anything. So it's kind of like fasting all the time. It's nice just eating meat all the time. And I got to say, I mostly eat red meat. I'll eat eggs and bacon, but most of the time it's steak or burgers or whatever. Like today, I had a New York strip for lunch. And then a little bit before coming on this, I had a couple of ground beef burger patties.
Yep. That's what I had. I had 3 burger patties for lunch, and I had a ribeye for dinner. I mean, that's all I ate. So the other thing is, Dr. Chafee said that what happens is he's basically OMAD, but he's not specifically saying, oh, I'm OMAD, so I'm only going to eat this hourly period, because sometimes he eats multiple times a day. But he said that you just listen to your body, and you end up, if you just eat when you're hungry, then you'll do the right and eat the right foods. Then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about calorie counting. You don't have to worry about eating windows. You just eat when you're, like yesterday, I ate like 5 times. I had 5 little meal things. I just ate all day. I don't know why. Well, because I'm lifting again. I started lifting again. So yesterday I lifted in the morning. I ate 5 times, and I was always hungry. So I was like, I'm just going to keep eating. But I was eating just meat, right? So I'm like, well, you can't go wrong. And then today I ate twice, and I lifted today, but I didn't eat as much. So I think you just have to learn how to listen to your body and eat a proper meal, and you'll be okay. And that's what his end result was. He's like, you don't need to help carnivore work. What you need to do is learn your hunger signals. And that's the hardest part. And I think that happens in the first 100 days, at least did for me. That's when I learned hunger signals and started realizing, okay, I'm really hungry and not just emotionally eating here. And I think that's what you kind of tipped in on, Kat, is the emotional eating. Because you can see, okay, let's test this hunger signal. Let's do something like a chore and then come back and see if I'm still hungry, or drink a glass of water and see if I'm still hungry. And if I'm not, then that was an emotional eating trigger, I think. I have those still sometimes too. Hey, we got DC Learning to Live from Brisbane, Australia, Brizzy, all the way from down there. I don't know. It's very early there, I think, in the morning. I don't know, or maybe it's just early morning or mid-morning there. Cool. We have a question. And how do we lower our ApoB and LDL on carnivore? Every other lab was excellent. We'll go ahead and answer this, but we're not doctors, don't give medical advice. But from what I understand, the LDL is not necessarily you want to lower it. You just want to have it tested to see what kind of LDL is it. Is it the fluffy, big fluffy LDL, or the not fluffy LDL? And so then it really depends on the quality of it, not the quantity, from what I understand. But again, I'm not a doctor, so you probably there are some websites that help you with your carnivore labs that you can pay for, I think. Kat, have you done that?
I haven't done it yet, but Own Your Labs is who I was going to go through, because they take the results and put it in for that. They're doing a study for carnivores or people carnivore. Sorry, the cat is trying to get up here. So that's who I was going to go through. And
you get a discount through them. That's what Dave Saunier said. Dave Saunier did that. If you guys don't know Dave Saunier, he's a regular. I don't know if he's on tonight, but he's a regular, and he's been on the channel as a guest. And I've interviewed him for Mission Carnivore, a Navy vet, great guy. And he's much heavier on the blood stuff than I am. I don't really mess with the labs too much. I just kind of go with how my body feels. What about you, Brian? What do you think? Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, so I've done some research, and like if you watch Dr. Ken Berry, he has a lot of videos about the LDL, and there's some people that are hypo responders and their LDL goes way up. Dr. Berry will tell you that there are some people that their LDL goes down, and some people that pretty much stays around where it is, and some people that goes way up. So I, with my primary care doctor, I have been having my LDL checked, well, the whole lipid panel thing, like every 6 months since I've been on carnivore, even before that. And for me, it hasn't changed a whole lot. It's gone up a slight bit, but not much at all. So I'm definitely not one of those hypo responders. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think part of it is that some people, it just goes up higher than it does on other people. So I don't know that there's a lot you can do for that.
Right.
But like you said, if it's the large particle fluffy stuff, that's a good thing. So I wouldn't really be too concerned about your LDL. I would worry more about HDL. Is that going up over 40 for sure? But if you can get it like over 50 or so.
And triglycerides.
And triglycerides going down. Yeah. If you can get those under 100 even, that's great, So those are the two numbers really to worry about in the lipid panel, more than the total cholesterol and the LDL.
Yeah. And so the other thing is this, the standards that we see, that we compare everything to, is people on the standard American diet. Our diet is different, so we will have different levels. And there's actually I think is it the HDL Masterclass by Dr. Diamond and Dr. Baker? Did you guys watch that? That was really good. Okay, you guys need to watch that. It's such a good video. It's called the HDL Masterclass, and just Google it. And you should do this too, Jeffrey. It talks about cholesterol. These researchers have determined from lots of real scientific data, not epidemiological studies where they ask people what they ate, but real science, hard science, that there's no real upper level of cholesterol that's dangerous. There's like no limit and it makes sense because our body, everything in our body, every cell needs cholesterol, right? And our brain needs cholesterol. So and then actually, one of this channel's main missions is Mission Carnivore, which is the veteran and first responders and suicide and trying to prevent suicide, and low cholesterol has been associated with violent acts and people that have impulsive acts, gambling addictions and pornography addictions, all kinds of addictions. A lot of these things, if you think about it, every addiction out there is really plant-based or driven by plants, either low cholesterol or is driven by plants directly, opioids, caffeine, sugar, all plant-based. There's no meat-based addiction. I mean, I love me some ribeye, but I'm not addicted to it, right? I can eat burger and be fine. Okay, cool. Let's see if there's any others in here. Got a lot of people saying hi. How's it going? My weight loss life. Some people. Oh, let's see. Here we go. Dr. Chafee video clarified a lot about fasting and OMAD questions I've had. My fasting amounts to just not being as hungry as when meat fueled. Yeah. So it's not that, and that's the thing. I think actually especially people starting out, there's a cat attacking cat. That's funny. So it's especially if people start this diet out. I think a lot of people think, well, I'm just going to hit it hard and I'm going to fast like the first 6 weeks or whatever. That's a bad idea. You really need to, in my opinion, I mean, you can do it, but in my opinion, I think you really need to just eat when hungry and eat till satiated and learn how to eat the right foods and let your body transition. So OMAD just kind of happens for me sometimes. Sometimes I eat one meal a day. Sometimes I forget to eat. And it's like, oh, it's bedtime. Oh, well, I'll just eat tomorrow, and I've done that too. Not very often, but it does happen.
Come here.
You guys ever forget to eat?
I don't really forget to eat, no, but I was going to say, I completely agree with you about the whole thing with not starting like fasting early on.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about, like the first 100 days or so, you're still getting into the whole thing with the cravings and so forth, getting rid of the cravings. And, if you go in fasting and you're still having sugar cravings, you're setting yourself up to want to cheat and fail. So
100%.
get used to it first, get past those cravings, and you will naturally become OMAD or 2MAD in fasting just from getting past that.
And you'll have great results. You don't have to try to speed this thing up. It is so rapid. If you just trust the process and jump in and just eat what you're supposed to eat and don't cheat, don't eat a bunch of cheese and a bunch of, really focus on just eating a clean diet. It'll just happen. And then you won't even miss the stuff you cut out after a while. Hey, we got a guy from Istanbul, man. That's awesome. That's my first Istanbul person on the live stream. You're the winner of being the first Istanbul. What do you call them? Istanbuli? I don't know. What do you call someone from Istanbul? I don't know. Are they Turkish? Is Istanbul? I don't know.
It's the capital of Turkey, right?
Yeah, so they're Turkish, right?
So yeah.
So he's Turkish. You're the first Turkish person I've had on my live stream. Thanks, man. Thanks awesome for joining us.
Yeah, there you go, Turkish. Yeah.
There's Dave.
Dave Sagnier's on?
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, I'm 2MAD naturally. I'm still low on iron. I rarely eat anything but beef. Not sure how to solve that.
I wonder if it's not diet related. Is there a medication or something maybe that you're taking?
Yeah, I don't know. So any ideas on low iron? You might want to check. Dr. Barry's probably got a video. If you do Dr. Barry Carnivore low iron or something, he could probably help you. I'm not sure what to do about that because I don't have that issue. And I guess we're not.
I did as a female though, and this is TMI, so if you don't want to hear it. But prior to my hysterectomy, I was having so much, I'm sorry guys, bleeding and stuff that I was literally, my iron was so low and that I had used up all my ferritin stores that they said that I would likely or could likely have a heart attack from it. So I don't know if any of that, would be, pertinent in this situation. But if you're a carnivore, I would think that it's probably not your diet, but I'm not a doctor, but it might be something more medical on that side related.
I also think that adding fat to your diet, maybe you're eating too lean of meat and you're not having enough fat, because fat, especially for women, I know helps upregulate hormones properly. Yeah. And maybe if you add fat, you'll get more iron out of the diet. I don't know for sure. I'm just saying it probably can't hurt. That's what that one lady, I've seen a video where she said eat a stick of butter a day. If perimenopause, I forgot how to say it. Anyway, women are going
that word, yeah.
Yeah, that word. So and then people in menopause, and she said that menopause should just be like something that just happens, like, oh, I had menopause, I'm not bleeding anymore. And it's like you don't have any of the hot flashes or any of that stuff if you do it through carnivore correctly, because your hormones are just completely regulated. You don't have the cortisol flashes, all this stuff. So that's amazing if it's true. I don't know, because I could never, I want to find out though, because if people on my channel are going through menopause or getting ready to go through menopause, might want to, if that's a real thing, they may want to implement that. Have you guys heard about that before?
Heard about it helping alleviate the symptoms of menopause? Yes, I have. I've heard of it. I am perimenopausal, so I am not in the thick of it yet, but I'm hoping that it won't be as bad. I'll be able to tell you myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is good because we can get you. This is our little scientific study. This is our N=1. We have someone that's getting ready to go through it, and she's going to be on a high-fat diet. We'll be able to see how it works out. That's great. Let's see, 4 a.m. right now in Turkey. That's awesome, man.
I agree with that, though. I do think that, well, naturally I sleep less anyways. In fact, throwback to the military, I'm always up very, very early, but I would be up early and tired. Yeah. Now I get up early and I'm just like, yep, here I'm ready to go.
I mean, can you imagine like being back in the Army now and like waking up and just going like, all right, let's go. I'd be like the people that's annoying in the office, like, shut up. I used to have my coffee. Like, I need more coffee. Don't be cheerful around me. I don't want someone cheerful around me right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
But I wake up cheerful and very chatty. I just like, I got to say a lot. I have just a lot of energy.
There you go. Someone else agrees with you. Beth says, I recommend you follow that issue up with the doctor. I agree too. Just like Kat said, the reason your iron is low may not be diet related and indicate another problem. True that. I would, I'm the kind of guy that do it all. So I'd be like, all right, I'm going to increase my fat diet and I'm going to the doctors, just to dial my diet in, because you are supposed to be getting like 70% of your calories from fat. And if you're eating the wrong cuts of meat, that's pretty hard to do. So you got to make sure you're getting enough fat. Ground beef and eggs are supreme. They're exactly the right percentages of fat to protein if you get a good fatty ground beef. LDL. Oh, here. Okay. DC Learn and Live knows his blood stuff. This guy survived stage 4 cancer twice, went through all the chemos, and now has controlled his cancer levels in his blood. He's like in remission now. So he knows a lot about blood. LDL guidelines are also set by the medical establishment on a BMI standard. Low LDL studies prove that low LDL causes depression also. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, there's some other stuff on LDL too that's bad. I forget what it was though, but I think it was Dr. Kiltz was talking about it. Oh, speaking of that, Dr. Kiltz is going to be interviewed by me on December 5th. So I'll have that video up the probably first or second week of December. And we'll be talking about mental health and plant addictions and all these. He's a great resource, just super smart, super sharp, and super high energy. So if you like Dr. Kiltz, check it out. If you've never heard of Dr. Kiltz, check it out. All right. Let's see where else we got. We got a cholesterol thing, and cholesterol has never been proven linked to heart disease or anything negative. That's true. That's just a fact. That was Ansel Keys that came up with that, I believe, right? With saturated fats and cholesterol being bad for you.
Yeah,
I think. We got a question here. What is your favorite carnivore recipe? I'll start with you, Kat, because you're probably a better cook than I am.
Not when it comes to meat, I'm not. We've had this conversation before. Yeah. I can destroy a pork chop in zero, but no. Right now, my favorite thing is not pork. I can't cook it. I ruin it. Picanha, is that how you say it?
Yeah, picanha.
It is. It's like I consider it a cross between maybe I don't know, because I wasn't ever a meat eater, but maybe like a prime rib and a roast or something. I don't know, but it's really good. I really like it a lot. That's my favorite thing lately. And of course, pork belly. That's the pork that I can do well. I love pork belly. I just ate it today right before we came on here. But I don't have a favorite because my standby is always ground beef. I'm just a ground beef girl. It's so boring, but I like it.
I love it. Yeah. All right, Brian, what's your favorite carnivore recipe?
So I guess when we're saying recipe, it would be too bland to just say steak, right?
No,
that's my favorite, but I don't really do anything to it. I just put some salt on it and cook it up. So,
and it's amazing.
Yeah. If I have to say like something that I really actually take some time to cook, I'm going to say this carnivore chili that I've made a few times. It's pretty good. It's got ground beef, it's got bacon, it's got stew meat in it. I know I'm forgetting some things, but it's really good. And that's probably, now that it's the time of year it is, that's a good thing to eat, on cooler days, even though it's been a little bit warmer lately. So that's a good thing. Otherwise, I'd be very basic and I'd be like, yeah, steak or something. I don't know, but I don't really do much to it, so it's not really a recipe.
So your carnivore chili is just basically what we call chili in Texas. No beans, just meat. And I make mine with a lot of times I'll put venison in there. I have venison sausage, which is basically made at a processing place that a meat processor where you bring your deer in and they grind it in with pig fat, and it's not a bunch of sugars or anything added in there, so it's good. So I put in venison sausage, stew meat, and then ground beef or ground venison, and throw it all in there and make a nice chili. I do that too occasionally, and I make a big batch and I freeze most of it and just break out one when I want it for a week, and I eat it throughout the week, which is nice. I have some in the fridge right now, which I'll probably hit in tomorrow. And my favorite recipe would be the ribeye, but mine is the smoked reverse seared ribeye, where I take a ribeye that's not frozen, I put it in my smoker for 20 minutes and raise the core temperature to the temperature I want my steak to be at, which is about 105 degrees. And then I pull it out and I have tallow in a pan and I sear each side for a minute and on the ends for 30 seconds and just get nice and you get that smoke flavor. And what happens is when you put it in a smoker, it takes all the moisture out of the exterior of the steak. It dries it out. So when you throw it in that flash pan, and you can do this in an oven. So you don't have a smoker, you can just do the same thing in an oven. You just put it on a rack and sit it there at about 225 degrees until you get the temperature of what you want. So when I get the steak, it's like 115, 120 degrees, medium rare, perfect. And it tastes, that smoke taste is amazing. So that is a recipe, I think. But ribeye for sure. Yeah, 100%. All right. Dave Saulnier's back. He traveled. And he said he was saved by McDonald's patties, 4 patties for $6.50 US dollars. Very easy meal. I agree. I've done that. Kat, you just did a lot of traveling. What did you do?
Well, I packed all of my food. I just made bacon, beef jerky. I made beef jerky out of the strips of meat, and then I even made some out of ground meat, which I didn't know you could do, but that was an interesting thing. And I just filled my little cooler in my car with snacks. We did stop because I have 2 teenage boys that eat everything under the sun, but not what I eat. And so I did stop for that. But gas stations, the only thing we got there was coffee. And I just didn't. If I was going to stop, I would have picked Wendy's over McDonald's. I do both of them, but I like Wendy's patties better. But McDonald's is good in a pinch. It was only a 15-hour drive, and then I just had my snacks. And again, I only eat once a day, so by the time I was hungry, we were already getting close to being here anyways. So, but yeah, McDonald's patties are good. They're in a pinch anyways. I wouldn't say good. I guess good's not the word I would use, but they work in a pinch.
They're filling and they don't taste terrible. Yeah, and cheap. They don't taste terrible. I mean, they will, as we used to say in the Army, they'll make a turd.
I know Whataburger in Texas, although I don't know, their patties are really good, and they'll give them to you just the patties with salt too. And my understanding is one of the sizes is a whole, just 100% beef, and not like the littler ones. I think are the ones that they mix. But you can do Whataburger, I guess. That's for you, Larry, because there's no Whataburger here now.
I know we have Whataburger. Let's see, Barris from our Turkish friend consumes mainly sheep yogurt and goat meat. I also have watermelon, white part only. Oh, the rind. Yeah.
Rind.
That's supposed to be an aphrodisiac or something, isn't it? It's supposed to be like, I heard that anyway. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, good for you, man. I know we were talking about sheep milk or sheep milk, basically.
And goat meat, yeah, because I just bought some.
And the milk actually has more MCT or mid-chain triglyceride fats in it than regular cow's milk does. So that's really good for you. All right. How about you, Brian? Do you travel much? And when you do, what do you go to? What's your go-to when you're traveling?
I actually like to stay at like an Airbnb or something like that and go to the grocery store and buy steaks and burgers and eat that when I'm out. In terms of like I've recently, a few weeks ago, I went to Myrtle Beach, and it's like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 hour drive, something like that. So I don't really have to eat during the drive necessarily, unless that's maybe the one meal I'm going to eat or something. But so it's mostly just, whatever I get and that we can cook in the Airbnb or whatever. So that's what I tend to do. But if I have to stop at like a fast food, I'll do like McDonald's or something like that. Definitely probably McDonald's or like, you said Wendy's. Try and stay away from like the chicken places, because a lot of times they'll have like, vegetable oils or whatever, seed oils mixed in there. So I would try and stay away from that. But places that are more like a burger fast food place, they're probably better.
It's not just the seed oils for the chicken either. It's the chickens themselves, because they've been genetically modified so often. There's a video I have. I don't know if you saw it, but it talks about, it's a mini documentary from forget the name of the channel. DC Learning to Live turned me on to this channel when he shared a documentary on it. It's like Evil Food or Evil Food Empire or something. It's really good. A lot of good documentaries on foods. They have a good documentary on dog food and pet foods, and then they have this documentary was on chickens, and it makes you never want to eat chicken out ever again unless you know where it came from. In fact, it does have a good, at the end it does talk about, hey, source your chicken locally, and then source your eggs. You can get the ones that are as long as they say they were free ranged, and that means they're eating bugs and they're out in the grass and stuff, then that's the eggs you want to get. And I started buying those, and I do buy them locally at ranches too, but when I don't go to a farmer's market or something, then I just buy them. I buy the free range ones from the grocery store, and they're good. They're good. You can tell the shells are way harder. The yolks are super dark. I mean, it's like completely different kind of egg.
Yeah, I agree. The eggs look completely different when you buy them that way.
Yeah. Dave Saunier learned a lot about eating while on travel. A lot of challenges. Very easy to overcome the challenges with a little planning. Yeah. Okay. He's a military guy. He's like me. You plan. And if you don't have a plan to win, you're gonna fail. I mean, we're gonna plan to fail, right? So, and then the whole thing about planning is, so Dave can come back and say, okay, here's what worked, here's what didn't work. This is the AAR, or after action review, and these are things I want to repeat, and these are things I don't want to repeat. And you make just a little self-assessment in your head. It only takes 5 minutes, and you can make sure your next trip's better. That's same with going into the holidays, right? Because we're going to be running into the holidays with, cookies and cakes and pies and all this stuff. Who here, if you're here watching this and you think you might have a challenge, go ahead and chime in on what your biggest challenge is going to be in the holidays while we discuss this. Kat, you said you're hosting Thanksgiving, right?
Yep.
So what's your plan? I'm sure you have some kind of plan. I know you probably have a split family. Not everyone's carnivore, right? So how's it work?
Yeah, no. They all eat meat, so that's good. There's no more vegans left. I was the last holdout, but they already voted out turkey and want to do a leg of lamb, so I guess we're going that route. And then I saw a cheese ball that you make, but instead of doing the nuts on it, you do crumbled up carnivore crisps on the outside of it and do bacon as the tail to make it look like a turkey. I'm kind of extra like that, so I'll do something like that. And there's a lot of keto desserts like the cheesecakes and stuff. And then I even tried something that I tried on my husband, but he didn't like, where you mix cream cheese with butter and then a little bit of like stevia or the allulose sweetener, and you mix it together. And you could do, if you do things like the dark cocoa or the little, because some people do have little bits, you can mix it in there and it's supposed to taste like cookie dough. I tried it and I thought it was pretty good, but then again, I eat butter, so for me, I thought it was good. My husband said it was gross. But
I would like to try that.
It's supposed to taste like cookie dough, but I don't know. It's pretty good. So I'll probably do some ice cream. And then I'm still going to have to cook other sides because I have a whole other family that it is a split family for sure. And I have all of my stepkids coming and everything. So I'll still have to be making those things. So I don't have a plan on those yet, though. But all the things that I want to eat is going to be very, very easy.
Okay, Brian, what about you? Thanksgiving stuff?
Yeah, so for me, I'm the only one doing carnivore or low carb at any way. So everybody else is just planning, their standard Thanksgiving that they normally do. So we're going to have like turkey and like mashed potatoes and yams and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
My plan, because we're going to be eating kind of a later dinner because a couple of my kids aren't going to be getting back until later in the day. Back into town. So my plan is I'm going to have a nice steak early in the day. And then at Thanksgiving time, I'll have a little bit of turkey and probably some deviled eggs. And that's it.
That's a good plan, man. That's a good plan. And you're not going to have any desserts or have any carnivore desserts set up or anything?
No, I don't think we're going to do any carnivore related desserts. They'll probably have one or two desserts. But it shouldn't be a big problem for me. If I do, I might have a little piece, but I don't think I will because they're not really like desserts that I'm really big on or anything like that. So, and especially if I eat a nice size steak early in the day, I'm not going to be that hungry to begin with. So I'm going to eat, the little bit of turkey in that, and I'll be full. Turkey, at least for me, turkey seems to be fairly filling. So
Oh yeah,
I think that'll be fine.
makes you take a good nap too. That tryptophan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to eat some turkey. My brother's going to smoke a turkey. He's a carnivore. I'm a carnivore, and my sister and her husband are carnivores. His wife's not, and then he has 2 kids. I think his son is, or he's ketovore maybe, and then his daughter's not. She's standard. So my son is carnivore, and so we're going to be majority carnivore. So we're going carnivore heavy, and we're going to be making, like you said, deviled eggs. I'm doing the smoked reverse seared ribeyes for all the grown-ups. My brother-in-law will probably bring a smoked brisket, which I'll be picking at all day. And I'm gonna fast going into Thanksgiving so I can just eat. I think that's what that is the one fast I will do, because I'm like, I'm just not going to eat all day until we break the seal, right? Because it's going to be all carnivore goodness. And then I'm going to make some Dr. Kiltz's ice cream. I'm making 3 flavors. I told you guys earlier I'm making vanilla cinnamon, which it tastes like a churro, which is super good. I'm going to make a lemon, and I have like this lemon oil essence stuff you put in there. It's super strong. Put a teaspoon in, and makes it taste lemony. And then I'm going to make a eggnog, and the eggnog just has nutmeg and has some bourbon in it. 1 shot of bourbon, and just to give a little bit of flavor to it. And then I put 1 teaspoon of sweetener in each one of those, so it's gonna be slightly sweet, and it's enough. I mean, it really is. So anyway, that's the experience I got. The question we have here is, can you do a rolling 72 on carnivore? I assume that's a 72-hour fast. I don't see any problem with that. You can, we've talked about this earlier. If you're just starting out, probably not a good idea. Probably good to start out just eating when you're hungry and learning your hunger signals. And after you made it 100 days or so, or 90 to 100 days, then you can start experimenting with fasting, I think. But it wouldn't hurt you. I mean, it just maybe it was, make it hard, because if you're starting out and you may have a tendency to binge afterwards. And I think Brian led into that a little bit. I know I would, because I just know my body. But N=1, you got to do your own experiment. So it's your body. Have at it. You won't hurt yourself. Let's see. Okay, that's a B12 for the low iron. And there you go. I know that if you eat fats, your body generates a lot of these vitamins like B12 and such. So, I mean, maybe you're just eating too lean to meat. Back to the question from earlier, one of our viewers said she had low iron. And, we're not doctors here, but 2 of the things is, 1, go get it checked out. And 2, maybe increase your fats, because your body can self-regulate with a lot of hormones and vitamins from eating the right amount of fat. Let's see. How do you know? Normally tested, and let's see. I don't know. Iron is not normally tested unless.
Well, if you're going to the doctor, and from the women perspective, if you're going to the doctor, well, first off, if you're going to go and you're complaining about heavy cycles, number 1, that's going to be a test they're going to look at. Also, some of the symptoms, just heart palpitations, or it feels that way, exhaustion. And I don't mean I've just had a long day exhaustion. It's exhaustion, just bruising, and just there's a lot of symptoms that if you are going to the doctor and you're telling them that you have this, they should be thinking, we need to test for iron. A lot of times it happens for women, though, because we're going in and we're saying, hey, I'm having these horrible cycles, or, all of these things. And that's one of the things that they test for at that point. But it's not, I wouldn't think, a standard regular, we're just going to go test. And ferritin is another one as well. That's not on a regular panel. That's something they have to specifically look at. And in my case, I had been having these issues for so many years that they wanted to see, because ferritin is basically the stores of your iron. And they wanted to see, at least that's how they explained it, whether or not my body had used all that up. So I don't know if it would be something that they would just do for no reason, unless maybe you asked for it or you went in with the symptoms of it, women's side anyways.
Kat, all I can say is I'm glad you're here because I have no idea. I have no reference on any of that. I'm like, okay, well, Kat's done it, so she knows this stuff.
I've been through it, yes. And I ended up having a hysterectomy because I had something called adenomyosis, which is different. It's the stepsister of endometriosis. It's another horrible, miserable thing. And so I've been through all of that, unfortunately.
Do you wonder if you had found carnivore 10 years ago, you wouldn't have ever had that?
Yep. I wonder it a lot.
I know a lot of people do. I mean, I hear people that, had their gallbladder taken out or whatever, and they're like, I probably wouldn't have had that.
That's what I tell my husband all the time. He lost his gallbladder, and I'm like, man, if we could just found, and I say that about my mom and stuff too. If we had found this sooner.
I know my mom passed from Alzheimer's, and I was like, if I knew this 20 years ago, we could have done something. I think it's a tool in the tool bag. Instead of
my little boy has epilepsy, and my other child has autism, and this type of diet is actually very good for them. And I think, gosh, if I could have got my son Nathan on it, he's got the autism, and this little one here, he doesn't want to eat it. But if I wonder, because they say that it's actually very good for those conditions. But
yeah, have you seen that documentary? I think, is it called The Perfect Human Diet? I can't remember which one it was. One of the documentaries, they have a kid that actually is autistic, and in 6 weeks you see the change. And the kid at first is throwing fits, won't eat the food, and they're like, "This is it." And the doctor's like, "Your daughter will get hungry and she will eat it." And she finally started eating, and she started devouring the food. It's like her body's telling her, "You need this." And then she said her first words. She was so autistic she couldn't talk. And she said her first word, started saying things. It's pretty amazing. So I think that's pretty awesome. And I think there's a lot of hope there that, not that it's going to cure it, but that they can have a better standard of life, and better quality of life. Let's see. Ferritin and low iron.
Well, if your iron keeps going low and low and low, and eventually it'll start using up that ferritin. So again, I'd probably still go back to that doctor and find out what's going on there. Yes, picanha.
Yeah. This is mine right here. Wagyu ground. So they actually sell at HEB, which is the grocery store here in Texas that I love. They sell Wagyu burger patties, and they're not cheap, but totally worth it because I love me some. I'm a single guy. I just want the easy cooking option, and that's super easy. I can buy 2 patties.
Walmart does too. I don't know if people don't have HEB. Walmart does have. It may be the cheaper Wagyu, but they do have the ribeyes, the ground meat, and the patties.
That's cool. Okay, I think there's a question up here. Let me see. What about you, Brian? Have you ever tried Wagyu?
I have not yet. Hope.
That's good.
Yeah, Wagyu's pretty good, man. I would definitely check it out. Okay, Dr. Feldman, very interesting scientist on LDL. Worth checking out. I've seen some of his videos. Yeah, that guy is legit. Check that out. Okay, Nurse Kim, almost nothing but ribeye for 2 months and gained 9 pounds back. So hopefully the 9 pounds you gain back are going to be bone density and muscle more than fat. And that's the thing with me. I mean, I'm like right now at 234 pounds, which I think last time I was at was like 1992. So, and I'm getting lean, I'm starting to cut the fat off by lifting again. So, and I might gain a little weight when I put muscle on, but that's fine. Okay. Let's see. Here's a Carnivore Chris. Good and easy recipe. Boneless chicken thighs, smash up bag of pork rinds, soak chicken leg and egg, and cover with pork breading. Cook in air fryer 17 to 20 minutes. That's a good one. I do like for my son, and when he has friends over, I do chicken fingers. And what I do is I get canned chicken, and I add egg, and I shred cheddar cheese in there, and add I think a third of a cup of cheddar cheese, and then I roll them into finger shapes, and then I dust them with pork panko, And then I put them in an oven at like 425 for, I don't know, 18, 20 minutes. I have a video on it or something. And anyways, they're really good. And then I make them a dip. And what I do is I just get sour cream and put Redmond's real salt and mix it in. And that's the perfect dip for him. And so he's eating basically pretty healthy fat and protein. Makes it a good good mix there. Let's see. We got another comment here on salt and butter. Oh, let's see. 5 minutes per pound. I'm not sure what that one is.
She might be talking about picanha because that's very close to, I don't know for a fact, but although you also could cook prime rib that way too. But I actually cook mine really low for a little longer, and then I let it sit. But
yeah, here we go. It's amazing how much our taste buds change. Before I was carnivore, I could never eat plain ground beef or even a burger without cheese and stuff on it. Now I love it. So if someone did say they're getting bored of, or can't stomach ground beef right now, there are some ways to make it more palatable. I have a meatball recipe on my channel where you add bacon and cheese and pork panko and egg to make as a binder, and you make meatballs and then freeze them and air fry them. And those are always a good, because they got a little bacony flavor, a little cheese flavor. You can add a little bit, and you can do beef bowls. I've seen some videos on there. Do you guys have any doctor up stuff for beef you guys do, or do you just do ground beef with salt? What do you guys do?
Well, I do meatballs too, and I also mix it with lamb and make it and I do meatloaf with the pork panko. And but I mean, I'm unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, I'm perfectly fine with just eating. I cook the ground beef until it's getting crispy, like it's almost burnt, but not burnt. And then I put salt on it, and I throw some butter in there, and I love it. I think it tastes good. So I'm perfectly happy to do that. So if I'm going to do anything else with ground beef, it's going to be a meatloaf or meatballs. And then sometimes I'll mix it with lamb to make it, with a little bit different taste. But I don't, or burger patties, but I guess that's the same as that'd be the same as eating the beef. So no, maybe Brian's got something better. I'm boring. It's so boring.
I think I'm even more boring here. So, I mean, it's mostly just the beef and salt. Occasionally I might do something where I put some scrambled eggs and cheese in there, but that's it. I mean, I don't do a whole lot. And really, when I seem to do my best, I'm either eating burgers made out of ground beef or steak.
Yeah, me too.
And that's it. Like, I do better when I'm not worrying about trying to make like nice recipes and trying to add fluff to it or whatever, and just plain eat the meat and salt.
It's like, and this is something I brought up before. It's like when we were kids and we'd have to stop playing to go eat. We'd have to apologize to our friends. Sorry, I got to go eat. Your mom's calling you.
Shoveling it.
And you're shoveling the food in. You're like, all right, I'm out. And you're running out the door, right? And
you
then you clear the table.
it.
Yeah. And that's what it's like now. It's like, I just want to eat so I can get it done. And then I want to go do something. Right. So my eating is really quick. And so, so I do, like the meatballs I actually get the bacon bits that are the pure bacon bits and just throw them in the fridge, and you can just dump. And those are already made to the perfect crispiness or chewiness to add to a meatball. So if you try to do your own bacon, a lot of times I find it's soggy and it's not as good. So I just use those. So Evil Food Supply is that channel I talked about. It's a YouTube channel. Check it out. I think it's at Evil Food Supply, but it's got great documentaries on our food supply. And if you ever saw, I don't know, some of these Food Inc. and that kind of stuff, it's on the lines of that, but everyone's like a micro topic, right? So it's very good. Definitely check that out. All right. This is Dave Saunier talking about the doctor with the LDL. Yep, you got his presentation. Let's see. Okay, here. My husband is so supportive of my carnivore diet that he keeps buying steak. That's super nice. My freezer is so full, as if I could even eat a fraction of it.
You can come buy me some steaks.
Listen, if you've got a supportive spouse, that is amazing. I find I have a hard time dating, because it's so hard to date someone that's not in this lifestyle. It's just, I can't imagine being married to someone that's not in this lifestyle. I know when I was married, I do keto when I was in the Army, and my ex was against it. She would like not even make food I could make. So she'd make dinner and then I'd have to make my own dinner. Right. That's how anti-keto she was, which, you know, so wrong. I think if you're married, you know, you could easily make something that could be both. Right. So I don't know, Brian, how do your spouse is not carnivore, correct?
Right. Yeah.
So how does that work out for you?
We don't really eat together. We don't, well, but we don't eat at the same times either. You know, like my biggest meal is normally like around noon or 1 o'clock, somewhere in that time frame. And I don't know. I work during the day, but I work from home, so I am home. But we don't eat at the same times most of the time. You know, we'll go out to eat maybe a couple times a week. We'll go somewhere, and it used to be that we just go wherever, and now we kind of pick some place that we know I'm gonna like to go. So we might go to like a Texas Roadhouse or something like that, and just kind of, you know, something like that.
That's cool. Yeah, that's kind of like thing when you're dating. It's like you can go out to a restaurant, and so what I usually do is like, hey, you got kids? Great, you can take my sides, and I'll order a steak. I'm like, you pick the sides, get them to go. And I just get my steak, right? So, and it works out. Like the last date I went on, she's like, "Oh, my daughter's gonna love this mac and cheese." I'm like, fantastic, knock yourself out. Get some mac and cheese, right? That's good, and that works out. But I don't go out that often, and I can't go out all the time on dates, right? So I cook a lot. So like I might invite them over, you know, to have dinner, and I'll cook steaks and stuff. That's one thing, but I just don't like going out too much. I'd prefer to eat my own cooking. My steaks taste better. They're cheaper. I mean, I know exactly how to make them. So it's just like Dr. Chafee said. I mean, unless I'm going to like Ruth Chris or something, I'm going to do my own steak better, right?
Yeah.
Pumpkin pie's weakness. Yeah. So everyone, this is good. You have to learn your body and know your weaknesses and set up healthy boundaries and plans to fight that weakness, right? That's part of your AAR stuff, right? So if you know that pumpkin pie is your weakness, eat before you get there and stay away from the pumpkin pie. And then maybe bring a carnivore dessert or something, like I'm doing the ice cream, or you can do cheesecake or something. Just bring something that you can have, or just keep stuffing your face with turkey and deviled eggs. You know, and then you get full, you won't even be hungry. Nia's Way. Hi, everyone. Nia's Way. She's got a nice YouTube channel, too. You can check her stuff out. I've seen her interviewed on JT's Carnivore Conversation. Is that what it is? What's JT's thing called? I forget.
Chatting with Carnivores.
Chatting with Carnivores. That's right. You guys have both done that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That was my first time on a live stream. Was with JT. He's a great guy. Great guy. Let's see. Oh, got another one. Mine too. Love pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie too. I used to love pumpkin pie with whipped cream. Even the cheap stuff. I like the cheap pumpkin pies that you buy at the grocery store. I just like that out of the fridge. Okay. Nurse Kim. It's no for me. Lamb. She really wanted to like it. Yeah. It's got a flavor. I mean, you know, I think when I've had it with rosemary or, you know, different seasonings with it. But
well, can I interject something on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So most of the lamb that you buy is imported from New Zealand or Australia, and it has more of a gamey taste to it. There is, and I'm not sponsored, nothing like this, but there's a place called Billy Doe Meats, Billy Doe, like DOE. They raise their lamb here in the US, and they've got lamb, goat, all kinds of stuff. I ordered a whole freezer full of lamb back when I was still in Texas, and it doesn't taste the same. And so I actually reached out to them, and they told me that it does not as gamey. I'd have to look at the email to see exactly why they explained that, but it doesn't have that same taste. So if you can find some that is raised in the US, then if that's where you're at, then that might be something to look into, because there's a big difference. And to one of my boys, he didn't like the lamb that I bought at the store, like regular Walmart. It had that gamey lamb taste, and it is usually cooked with rosemary and garlic and stuff, but it's completely different if you can find it in the US. And like I said, Billy Doe, DOE, they have, and they ship very fast. And theirs is different. Try it. Try that before you say 100% that you don't like it, because I would have said that as well until I tried the different one. Just putting that out there.
Interesting. I mean, I like lamb chops, so
I do. I love lamb. It's one of my
favorite. I don't have a problem. I like the way it's cooked too. So I've probably never had this non-gamey flavored one, but I'd be up for trying it. I think lamb. I mean, it is a ruminant animal, right? But the meat has more of a pork texture, like a pork chop to me. To me anyway, that's what I think. It's like a little leaner, maybe.
Except it doesn't dry out like pork.
Yeah. Pork will dry out in a heartbeat if you do it wrong, right? Right, Kat?
Yeah, I annihilate pork chops on a regular basis. I even tried breading them with pork panko and air frying. I'm thinking, no, it was like a brick with crumbs on it. It was horrible.
So smoked turkey is pretty amazing. I used to actually order them. You can order them from barbecue places. In Texas, there's a barbecue place on every corner, and a lot of them offer smoked turkeys you can order for Thanksgiving, which I used to do. And you just throw it in the oven and warm it up with water in the pan under it and foil over it and just bring up to temperature. Pretty amazing stuff. It's my favorite turkey to eat. Let's see. Went through Thanksgiving Canada with no problem. Just eat the meat and make your own deviled eggs. Oh, dude, when is Thanksgiving in Canada? What are you guys thankful for? Being next to America? I mean, I don't know. I'm just curious.
I think they had Thanksgiving already, didn't they? I think it was in October or something.
Yeah, it says they did. I didn't know they even had that. I wonder what the Thanksgiving is about. I should look that up. That's interesting. Because a lot of countries don't have any at all. They don't have any Thanksgiving, like Australia, UK. They just don't have it. Dave Saunier likes Nia's Ways channel. I like her channel too. She does a lot of cool yoga, stretching, and introspection kind of stuff, along with her carnivore stuff. It's good. It's a good channel. Let's see, ground lamb. Never had that. I would be up to try it though. You know, for a variety, that probably wouldn't be bad. Let's see. Ribeye roast and deviled eggs are great suggestions. Yes, deviled eggs. There's a great. What's that lady's? She does the protein sparing bread. I forget her name. She has a lot of great recipes. I'll think of it. Anyway, she does a deviled egg recipe video. You can just Google carnivore deviled egg recipe and you'll find her.
Are you talking about the ketogenic woman, Anita?
No.
Because she does one too.
Oh, does she? No, it's a different one. But anyway, yeah. Okay, we got another question here. Have any of you guys actually been doing greater than 24-hour fasts? I find that being carnivore and in a keto state 24/7 pretty much gets the benefit. Yeah, that's exactly what Dr. Chafee was saying. If you're on a carnivore diet, you're in a fasting mimicking diet. So your body, your blood serum, your insulin is all acting like you're fasting. So doing a fast, now that one thing that fasting can do and can help, from what I understand, is if you have excess flabby skin, you know, because you've lost a lot of weight, that it can help basically eat that up and replace with, not for everyone, but for a lot of people, it helps with the tightening your skin up where you've lost weight. So again, you don't do this the first 6 weeks you're into it probably, but a lot of people do fasting for religious reasons too, which is totally fine. It's not unhealthy to fast at all. It's just, if your goal is just losing weight, just trust the process and let carnivore do its thing. Learn your signals, and then you can play with fasting, which I've done. I've done some 24-hour fast, and this is super easy because this is like, all right, eat dinner, and then don't eat again till dinner tomorrow. There you go. It's 24 hours. That's pretty easy because you sleep through most of it. And the next day, you can just get busy and work all day and then eat dinner at the same time. So if the last thing you ate was 7 p.m., you know, it's super easy. And then if you even want to go 36 hours, just sleep one more night and then wake up and eat in the morning. You got a 36-hour fast, super easy, not even hard, especially in this diet because sometimes you're just not hungry. So it just happens. Let's see. What do you guys think about that? What she's asking. Have either one of you done more than a 24-hour fast ever?
Now, the longest I've done has been like 26, 27 hours just because that's when I got hungry again. So, I just eat when I get hungry, and it's not really an extended fast because of that. So,
Okay, Dr. Bright, that's the one that was talking about. She's the one that talks about eating the stick of butter a day, I think, if I'm correct. I've seen that video about women going through menopause, and she's really good. She's got a lot of good stuff on her channel. That's the one I'm thinking. She has like short blonde hair. She's in her 60s. Looks great. Super energetic. Let's see. Nurse Kim. My dad died of ALS, and I really wish I could have told him about it. Yeah. I mean, we see all these diseases, Alzheimer's and what's the one where the hands tremor and stuff? I forget. Michael J. Fox has it, I think. There's a lot of neurological diseases that seem to be helped through this diet, if not reversed. I just watched a video with Dr. Chafee interviewing a guy who's reversed Alzheimer's from some people completely, like by switching to a carnivore diet. And then they switch back off and get on these statins. And some statins actually cause Alzheimer's too. Because these people are in a nursing home and he's running nursing homes, he can have complete control over their diet as long as the family agrees. So he can really do the real hard science, right? And add or remove things like medicines and food and they can't cheat because they're eating what they're given, right? And I don't know if you guys saw that video, but it's fantastic. They actually reversed Alzheimer's in several patients and helped Alzheimer's in a lot of patients, where people would come in and didn't know anyone's name, including their family. And then after, months in there, they know all their family names and they know all the staff's names, which is crazy, right? That's huge, because I know when my mom died, it was pretty terrible. I don't know if you guys know anyone that's had Alzheimer's, but it's an awful, awful disease. ALS is no great disease either. That's a tough way to go. So yeah, Nurse Kim, I think we all think about that. Like, if we'd known earlier, who could we have introduced it to or saved? But that being said, I've told my dad about it, and he wants nothing to do with it, and I know it would help him. How about you guys? Have you told family members that? Well, I know Brian, your wife and everything, but have you told other family members that, they've actually seen the results and they still don't do it or are not interested? Brian, you can start on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I have I know somebody that has autoimmune disease and in the family, and they've seen the progress I've had, and I've talked to them, but they just don't want to do it. Matter of fact, one point their comment to me was that they're at the age that they just don't care anymore. They just want to eat the food that they like, and they don't think they're going to like eating carnivore. So that, unfortunately, it's unfortunate, but that, I don't think they're that old either. So
yeah.
They have, other than the autoimmune disease, they have other issues too that, could be fixed with it, but they don't want to look at it. So,
well, my dad, like I got him to, he wouldn't even watch the videos I sent him until after I left. Right. And then he watched, I showed him the one with Dr. Kenobi about seed oils and, the 4 horsemen of the dietary apocalypse, right? You got seed oils, sugar, refined grains, and trans fats. And he finally watched it when I was driving home. He texted me, he goes, "That was pretty good." He goes, "That guy makes a good argument." I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "But I'm still going to eat what I want. I'm still going to eat mayonnaise stuff." I'm like, "Well, Dad, at least now it's informed consent, because now you're poisoning yourself. So that's fine. I'm good with that. As long as up till today, it was not informed consent. You were being experimented on. And, good for you, Dad. At least you know. What about you, Kat? Do you have anyone that you've shared it with in your family that would be benefit? Well, anyone pretty much would benefit from it, but it has nothing to do with it.
Anybody that I've talked to about it hasn't really been interested. I did kind of try to get my husband to do it when we were in the same household. We are in separate households now, and he does to an extent, but then he really likes his carbs and his sweets, so he would just go to work and eat it at work. So no.
Yeah. That's what addicts do, right? I mean, I'm an addict. I mean, I think we all here are addicts, right? We're addicted to sugars and carbs, and addiction is pretty powerful, and people can justify it any way they want. My dad is. I mean, that's it's just the way it is. Yeah, The Magic Pill was that movie. So that's one, Kat, you need to check out if you haven't watched it. It's free. I actually have a link on I have a review of that movie. So go to movie reviews, find that magic link, and Magic Pill. You can watch it free on your TV on Tubi or YouTube. And it's a really good documentary. And that girl that has autism is just amazing. The change in her. So it's so obvious. Let's see. All right, we've been a little over an hour. Let's go through and see if we get more questions. Then we can wrap it up here. Let's see. Carnivore Soldier. I saw you're in Austin. That's right. Every time I open video, it's all right, all right, all right. Carnivore Soldier coming out of Austin. I'm actually north of Austin by an hour. I'm in Gerald. You're in Dallas. Cool. The deals here are amazing. I find so much at Tom Thumb on sale. We don't have Tom Thumb down here. I know you guys don't have HEB in Dallas. I think they're starting to open up north, though, from what I understand. But don't know about Tom Thumb. Haven't been there, but that's good. And the other good thing about Texas is beyond just barbecue around every corner, there's a lot of people that have cattle. So all you have to do is get on a Facebook group and just say, hey, who's selling beef? And you can buy in on a cow. And I've done it many times, and just take a quarter of a cow. And then when it's done, they tell you where to process it. And you show up at the processor, you pay the processing fee, and they ask you how you want it processed. And you partner with someone else buying a quarter. So they'll do a half a cow at a time in the same process. So you say, hey, I want 85% ground beef or whatever. You know, I want this many steaks. I want them cut 1.5 inches thick. And it's super easy. And then, you know, you just go get some beef. A lot cheaper, too. Okay. Nurse Kim was battling chronic candida and coming off metformin and Adderall. Okay. That could have been definitely contributed. Yeah. So, I mean, these are things that probably would have been prevented by being on carnivore diet, right? Or on a whole food diet anyway. A lot of that stuff probably could have been prevented. Ground beef with crushed pork rinds till crispy and Parmesan cheese. My kids gobble that up every day. That's awesome. I also sometimes I will buy blue cheese crumbles that are, you know, make sure there's real cheese and throw that on a steak or in ground beef. It's just to give it some flavor. I mean, you can change it up a little bit. There are things you can do, but I don't really need that very often. So that's like a one-off. Like I'll probably do it maybe for for Thanksgiving. I'll, you know, a little blue cheese to offset the smoked steak. That's kind of a good thing. Let's see. Any more questions?
There's a couple of questions that came in towards the bottom.
Okay, I'm going down. I'm going to grab them. Let's see. What time frame?
9:15, so 8:15 your time.
Okay, 8:50. Oh, I found one. 68 days. Is this one you're looking at?
Yep. Yeah, there's one right after it as well. Yep.
Okay, good. 68 days carnivore, and the only problem I have is liquid stools. Okay. I don't eat a lot of fat, but I drink more diet sodas than when I was on keto. Yeah, I would cut out diet sodas for sure. And then, I mean, 68 days, you should not be having so much liquid stools if you're not. Maybe it is it could be the caffeine. You have a lot of caffeine in those sodas. There's a couple things that can, you know, cause that, I guess. So, because I think caffeine basically acts as a diuretic, right? So it can get a lot of water into your stool. So I would just drink water and maybe some salt. What about you guys? Do you have any feedback on that?
Well, when I first started out, I had a really bad diarrhea. But mine was a combination of too much magnesium with the electrolytes when I was first doing them. Also switching from a vegan to a carnivore diet. And then, of course, I needed to get my fat ratio. Well, because it would go one way or the other. But I struggled with it in the very beginning, but I don't drink soda. So I don't know, maybe it is that. But I drink a lot of coffee, and that's caffeine. And it is a diuretic. And I still drink a lot of coffee, and I don't have the loose stools anymore. So I don't know on that one.
Everyone's body
is different. Soda.
It could be the soda. And also if you're doing dairy, try cutting dairy out. I mean, go to as clean of the diet as you can and then see what happens and then reintroduce things. I mean, that's always the right answer. Always the right answer. If you're trying to dial something in your body, the cleanest you can go is Lion, basically. You just go to Lion for a couple of weeks. If you've done 68 days, it's not a hard thing to switch to Lion for a few weeks. Just say, hey, I'm going to do 2 weeks of Lion and see what happens. And then it's just water, salt, and beef or whatever, or ruminant animal. And then we'll start adding things in and see what happens. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I think it could definitely be the diet soda. Just the artificial sweetener can cause that problem. So
yeah, what kind is in it? Because some of them really your stomach.
Yeah, it's not good. It's definitely not good. I would
definitely get rid of the diet soda, and see if that makes a difference.
So Dave Saunier says, yeah, make him a batch of homemade mayo. Okay, got a story for you guys real quick. I have a recipe on my channel for making bacon mayonnaise, but you can do it with duck fat if you don't want the bacon flavor, or you can do it with butter. Duck fat's like a neutral flavor, so it just tastes like mayonnaise. My bacon mayonnaise, though, I used it and I made a bowl of egg salad. I got hard-boiled eggs, 2 eggs, diced them up, threw some of that bacon mayo in there, some Redmond real salt, and a little bit of dill relish. I did throw some dill relish and whipped it up. Man, that was so good. A smoky bacon egg salad. And I'll probably make that for Thanksgiving too, just so people can, throw it on there and try some of that out. So yeah, I mean, maybe I will next time I go down there. I was making some mayonnaise and bring it with me, make them a jar. Okay, any more questions? Yeah, aspartame. That's the stuff in the sodas that's terrible, and it gives you digestive issues. So I would definitely cut all that out. If you were gonna do something, they do have, like, is it stevia sodas or something? They have some that have, but
stevia.
I would just not do that either. I would just seriously go to sparkling water, mineral water, right? Go to Topo Chico. So you still have your soda, kind of. You get used to it. And once you get used to it, it'll only take a week or so. I drank the heck out of those things when I started because I was a soda addict too. So, oh man, UK Carnivore guy is here. What's up, brother? It's late there, man. Don't you ever sleep? This guy, we got people all over the world now. We got people in Turkey, in the UK, in Brisbane, Australia. Pretty awesome. This is a global message going on. It's great. All right. I was addicted to regular sodas for 40 years, switched to diet sodas. It's time to switch to water as I don't drink tea. Yes, it is. So you're not so I would definitely try that. Topo Chico's great. Pellegrino or whatever. There's a lot of different ones you can try. Get a mineral water so you're getting your minerals in there too. That's what I do. And then here's the other thing. If you're going to supplement iodine, which I do like probably 4 drops a week. I just drop 2 drops in a sparkling water. You don't even taste it at all. It's pretty nasty if you put it in regular water, in my opinion.
I have to put it in coffee because I feel like I can taste it and everything.
Have you tried it in sparkling water?
I tried it in regular water though, and
regular water is terrible.
That one.
Sparkling water, you cannot taste it. I promise. I guarantee you. If you get a Topo Chico and put 2 drops in, you will not know that. I could put 2 next to each other and blind test, and you wouldn't know which one's which.
Regular Topo Chico or the twist of lime?
Oh, regular, just a regular. Just try it. It's interesting. I think because the bubbling just tricks your tongue and doesn't taste that. So. All right, guys. Oh, he's working night shift, so he's on. That's funny. Good deal. Sucralose and Diet Right. Man, do you guys remember Tab?
Mm-hmm.
That was the worst diet drink ever. My dad loved that stuff. I remember when I was a kid, I hated it. I remember it came back too, like, 15 years ago or 20 years ago? It's crazy. But Tab was the first diet drink, I think, first diet soda. And it was like the worst thing you could ever put in your mouth. And especially because I would be out, my dad developed land, so I'd be out digging ditches in my dad's land. And he'd have in the cab of the truck, hot Tab was the only thing we had to drink. There's no water. And I'm like, oh man, this sucks. And I had to drink hot cans of Tab when it was like 90 degrees out. Makes you tough though, right? Makes you tough to do that. So let's see. Topo Chico. Yes. Yep. I like Topo Chico. Now in Texas, you can get something called 1776, which comes from Texas spring water and it's sold at HEB. And that's like a Topo Chico. Topo Chico is a Mexican, if I'm not mistaken, spring water but it is still a spring water, so it's got a lot of minerals and such. So it's good. That's the thing. Ancestrally, the ancestral diet, people drank water from streams and from puddles and ponds and lakes, and those waters have minerals in them because they wash over rocks. They come up through springs, through the rocks. So the water we drink now is all filtered out and chlorinated, terrible. So I have reverse osmosis. So I drink either pure water or spring water. All right, iodine mouthwash. Yeah, I've heard about that. That's interesting. Okay, all right, guys. Yeah, Tab was horrible. It was terrible. Champion Within's here. What's up, brother? Oh yeah, Dave Saunier hates Tab too. All right, so everyone hates Tab. Who likes Tab? Anyone like Tab? Jump in there and tell us, because that's interesting. Sucralose also causes insulin spike. Well, actually, yeah, not just sucralose. Yeah, so any of the artificial sweeteners can cause an insulin spike. So that's another thing. It can drive your, if nothing else, it can drive your cravings too. I know when I was still eating sweetened things or drinking sweetened drinks, I would have 6:00 p.m. cravings that were just pretty insane. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to call it. I'm going to drop you guys out. If you stick around for a minute, we'll talk afterwards. But we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. Thanks for your time. I respect you. And thank you again for joining us for Humpday meetup. Guys, well, real quick, what do you guys have planned for your channel this week? Anything? I know, Kat, you just moved, so probably not. But Kat, we'll start off. Do you have anything planned in your channel specifically this week?
Well, I had to take a trip to Costco and restock my freezer. So I actually do need to record a video, or I'm going to record a video. I have part of it already done of just kind of what I did to restock my kitchen in a move and get my freezer full and meal prep, that kind of stuff. And that's the one that I will work on right now, because it's a little overwhelming what I got going on here right now. So.
Right. Unpacking. I hate moving. I hate unpacking.
It's horrible, yeah.
What about you, Brian? What's going on this week? Anything planned?
Yeah, I've got some live streams. I got a live stream tomorrow with Greg from My Weight Loss Life, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're doing the low carb football party that we do on Thursday nights. So I'll be doing that. And on Sunday afternoon at noon Eastern, I have a live stream with Dr. Tony Hampton. Cool. So a couple lives coming up, and then I'm working on a video as well. Something a little bit different, where I talk a lot about my success on carnivore and stuff, but people probably don't really know me a lot. So in this video, I'm just going to kind of talk about myself a little bit and let people get to know me a little better.
Cool. Good deal, man. All right, guys, I'm going to drop you guys off and say goodbye, and then stick around. We'll talk for a few minutes. All right, guys, this is great. Great talk tonight. Had a lot of good stuff to talk about. A lot of good information. All I got to say is stay strong and overcome. Carnivore Soldier out.